Rise and Resist is a small, entirely volunteer group of activists dedicated to nonviolent, creative protest. We are committed to fighting back against Donald Trump's corrupt agenda. The Trump administration is now threatening us with a federal investigation because of peaceful protests we have organized against Tesla. We are not scared of this threat, and we will not back down. On March 8th, Elon Musk sent out a hostile tweet that blamed Rise and Resist and 4 other groups for the ongoing Tesla protests. On March 10th, after weeks of national protests against the CEO and Doge chief Elon Musk, Tesla's share prices crashed.
On March 11th, Trump said violence against Tesla dealerships will be labeled domestic terrorism. Rise and Resist has never engaged in violence against Tesla dealerships or property. On March 12th, as if on cue, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene sent an official notice to Pam Bondi, Trump's Attorney General, and to Kash Patel, Trump's FBI director, falsely accusing Rise and Resist of acts of vandalism.
House budget resolution, which provides the framework to we should abolish the U.S. Department of Education. The decisions need to be made back on the state level.
I believe that the president is very supportive of Ukraine. Like him or not, Elon Musk has brought a lot of really smart people to Doge.
And you wonder why folks don't want to do these town halls.
Wonder. The protests against Musk don't end there. There's something really remarkable happening right now. I'm not sure people have really quite gotten their arms around this. We are seeing this organic bottom-up movement against Musk's signature company, Tesla. Some activists just put up a website with a simple message, right? Sell your Teslas, dump your stock. And then an entire Tesla takedown movement has sprung up in response. And they've got a map where all the protests are planned all across the country. It's been happening for about a month. This weekend alone, there are more than 100 protests planned at dealerships, Tesla dealerships across the country, from Brooklyn to Toledo, Dallas to Grand Rapids, Raleigh, dozens more. There are even, as you might see there, a handful planned in Canada and the UK. And I'm going to tell you something. I wager next weekend there will be even more, and the weekend after that more. Because this is growing every single day. And it's not Democratic leadership in Congress organizing the protests. It's just everyday folks who are fed up and want to make their voices heard. And it's having an insanely outsized effect. I mean, Tesla's sales are just cratering. The stock price has seen all of its post-election gains vanish. Musk's personal wealth has declined by more than $125 billion since the beginning of the year. That's because of this. And that's why Donald Trump had to turn the White House into a car lot this week and cut an ad for his co-president's fleet of vehicles. While the Attorney General of the United States effectively tried to threaten folks with jail time if they voiced their dissatisfaction with Musk's company.
If you're going to touch a Tesla, go to a dealership, do anything, you better watch out because we're coming after you.
Wow.
And
well,
if you're funding this, we're coming after you. We're going to find out who you are.
If you go to a dealership? No. We've all got a First Amendment right to stand on a sidewalk with signs outside a dealership. Doesn't matter what Pam Bondi says. By all accounts, this is not being funded by some big funder. It's a grassroots movement. Some people are organizing. They're putting up a website. And at any rate, it doesn't seem like those scare tactics are working. I would hazard they only make people want to protest more. Today, hundreds of veterans and their family members and loved ones rallied near Capitol Hill in protest of Musk's cuts to the federal government, many of which target veterans who worked in the government and have been fired or are serviced by the government directly. Yesterday, 100 demonstrators got arrested after hundreds more occupied the lobby of Trump Tower in Manhattan to protest the unlawful detention of the Palestinian activist Mahmoud Khalil. Again, this is just the tip of the iceberg. It's taken a little while for people to sort of understand what they're seeing. Because it's shocking and it's surreal. But it's just the beginning.
Today, Trump made good on a campaign promise fulfilling a longtime Republican priority, signing an executive order to dismantle the Federal Department of Education, which is already one of the smallest cabinet-level departments. Trump can't just unilaterally close it. That would require an act of Congress. But there are things the administration could do to stop the department from functioning. Residents, educators, teachers from across the country aren't taking the move lying down.
They're hurting kids. And that's just untenable. We can't be hurting our kids.
Basic education is enriches our communities, and it's hard to imagine a world without that.
I think what we do today has national implications, and I hope that we come out and show a strong message that education matters, that teachers' voices matter, and that we are going to show up and stand up for kids.
Congressman, good morning to you. The focal point of Thursday's town hall in Bakersfield was cuts to Medicaid. What did you hear from folks there?
Well, I heard that first, that they're scared, that they're disappointed in their own member, that their own member who should recognize that 69% of his district, actually 67% of his district's on Medicaid, and he doesn't care. And he doesn't listen to them. So they're angry, they're frustrated, and they're scared. And I want to tell them, we're here. We're here to listen. We're here to help. But most importantly, we are here to help you get organized, to fight back. Because the only way we're going to take this country back is if people organize, rise up, and demand changes. And if not, vote them out in 2 years.
We have some sound, Congressman, from Congressman Valadao on town halls. And I would just note for folks at home, this is the congressman who represents Bakersfield, and this is what he had to say.
Do you feel threatened by these town halls and the fact that Democrats are already gearing up for 2026 using the issue of health care?
No. I've got more important things to worry about than an election that is almost 2 years away. It's sad that a fellow congressman who should be focused on taking care of his constituents is taking time out of his schedule to play in political rallies.
He's got more important things to worry about than speaking to his constituents.
Yeah, his constituents are should be his main priority. And he's not listening to the fact, and he's not looking at the data. 67%. That means more than half of his district, 500,000 people. So you don't have to worry about 2026. He has to worry about them now. What happens if they lose their health care? What's going to happen is, one, the rural hospitals that depend on Medicaid are going to shut down. There's going to be less doctors. There's going to be less nurses. That means people's health outcomes are going to be worse. People with diabetes, people with valley fever, that is very strict, impactful there in that region. So he should care about what's happening to them now and actually stop lying to them about they're not going to vote for cuts, because we know that the math doesn't math if they don't cut Medicaid.
Confidence in the future. That's what's so stunning about this. And the last thing I'll say is schools are controlled, as you know, as Lieutenant Governor, schools are controlled by state education committees and by local school boards. So this has nothing to do with that. This has to do with taking away the opportunity that the federal role has provided to lift kids who were left behind.
Kevin, you have been on the front line today with teachers and students and concerned citizens there in Colorado and organizing. I wouldn't even say so much a protest, but a reminder of the importance of education. I want you to listen to some students who were here at the Department of Education today in Washington and what they had to say.
I'm here today with students outside the Department of Education because Trump and his billionaire friends are trying to take away our public schools so that they can continue to line their own profits. I'm terrified, and I think it just goes to show that Trump is serious about hurting working people and young people for his own power and profit.
Kevin, talk about that aspect of what this young lady referenced, and that is the pain that will come from these, from what's happening now with the department, and how that plays out for students K through 12 in colleges and universities around the country. Who are, right in that sweet spot in that relationship between the federal government, right, which is sort of the safety net support, providing programs that really help the poorest in communities, help those who are educationally disadvantaged to find a leg and support what the system, as Ms. Weingarten noted, that is being controlled by the states.
Well, first of all, I appreciate you having me on tonight. It's a big honor. And I think the young lady said it really well, that there is just such a level of uncertainty right now, such a level of anxiety, and really such a level of stress that is playing out across education, the entire education landscape. And so what our particular situation was today was, on top of the federal uncertainty, our state budget situation is such that we're looking at potential cuts in education again after, on top of another 15 years of cuts that we have been suffering under here in Colorado. And so I think what we saw today was people deciding that they needed to take action, they needed their voices heard, and we had a huge turnout today. I would estimate around 10,000 educators, students, community members, all coming together to say what's happening is not right, and we have to find a better way.
What I've said is that I think Elon is the best person to ruin Trump's life, and Trump is the best to ruin Elon's, right? Like, they're both poised to make each other miserable and take one another down. And Elon is taking down Trump because his harebrained schemes and just how weird and unlikable he is has made an already unpopular Donald Trump increasingly unpopular. But, Donald Trump has hurt Elon because the association with Trump has taken a company like Tesla, which used to have lots of people like it, and if anything, was a company that probably had a clientele that was maybe more Democratic leaning than Republican. Like, a lot of left-wingers like me, we never liked Elon because his cars are not union made. He's a union buster. So I would have never bought in a Tesla, ever, right? Unless they were union made. But a lot of more moderate Democrats, wealthy Democrats, they love Tesla. Now it's associated with Republicans. And Trump's trying to save Tesla. He's like, I'm going to declare it terrorism to attack Tesla. And I'm going to buy a Tesla. And I'm telling all my supporters to do it. And what's that done? It's made the car even more political than it was just a few months ago, and now you're having massive protests outside Teslas and things like that. Donald is a mess, and the reason why all of this is going down, folks, is because people are furious. Donald was always going to do bad things that generated protest, but all the moves he's made, and this is why a lot of Republicans are mad at GOP town halls, is that all the moves he's made have gone against his mandate. He did not run on what he's doing. He actually ran on the opposite, and voters rightfully feel betrayed.